change it?
Yeah, I'm going to record this. They are, because a lot of the apprentices, if they finish in March, we've been instructed to keep them on, just because the amount of change for such a short benefit. It's been, we will have some. But I went on to live guides through Moodle recently, like in the last 2 days, and it does look and feel a bit different. So there's still something there, isn't there?
Yes, and hopefully this will be a little bit smoother as well for the students to navigate through resources. I see you've got a little visitor there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Look, you could possibly come up with something intelligent. Can't or anything, but it just wants to be part of it.
Okay, guys, so my name's Shivani. I'm one of the academic writing tutors as part of the academic writing service at CU Coventry. So there are 2 of us at the moment. So there's myself and Dan, and we're responsible for providing academic writing support to students across CU Coventry. So what we do, we're essentially here to help you with your academic writing skills and knowledge. So any assignments that you have, if you book an appointment with us, we can help you along the writing process, right from the start where you're planning your assignment to the end where you're submitting. So things that we offer as part of the service, so you don't need to have started your assignment to come and see us. So we can help with deconstructing the brief. So a lot of students come to us asking about various verbs relating to the learning outcomes. So analysing, critical analysis, evaluating, assessing, all these key action verbs that are in your assignment briefs. We help students break those down and provide guidance on how these learning outcomes align with the task itself. Critical writing is also a popular one as well. So building up your critical thinking skills and transferring them into your writing. So this is a skill that is built up through your course. I'm sure you've come across this before. Various terms are used: critical thinking, critical analysis, critical writing. So, if you're unsure about how to proceed with this, we can help with that. Looking at different assignment genres. So if you've never written a report before, or you've never written a case study or a business plan before, we can help introduce you to that type of assignment genre. The general ability to organise and structure assignments and use of sources in writing. So this goes hand in hand with the library offering referencing support. We then offer support on how to incorporate these sources in your writing as best as possible. So last year, just some statistics for you. We saw 204 students, and 99% of them felt that we helped them develop their skills and knowledge. So it's always nice to hear positive feedback in that regard. So we see students across all subject areas, and from this next slide here, you can book a one-to-one appointment. So we can either do one via email, Zoom, Teams, phone, or face-to-face. So it's entirely up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. Typically appointments are 30 minutes long, and typically students have up to 6 per block, so that will average to about 1 per week. But with you guys, it's slightly different, and obviously we can be as flexible as you'd like. So for example, if you would like an email appointment or a Zoom appointment, we usually ask that you email your work at least 24 hours before, so that we can have it prepared for the appointment.
Shivani, so I've got people on the top-up degree, which is what Ashley and Brenna are both going to be progressing to. When would they use tutor support, and when would they use either library or academic writing support? So when's the best fit for each of those? Are
you talking about timings or?
Yeah, and also what they'd expect to get out of it, because I suppose when I'm thinking about delivering on the CMI Diploma, they are fortunate in the sense that they get a lot of support because they're very small classes, and there's quite a lot of spoon feeding really, because it's getting back into studying. Once they're in the top-up degree, which they're going to be on soon, the class sizes, I mean, they're not huge by normal standards, but you're talking sort of 20 odd students. And so actually the support I offer then is, and this is across the board, is quite different. So it will be like a 15-minute review and one review of your draft, rather than constant reviews, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just wondering when they should, how to dovetail what you do and what I do. So
what we would recommend is first they would come and see you for tutor feedback. Because obviously from our end, we expect the tutors to provide subject specific feedback in relation to the content. What we can do then is use that subject specific feedback to feed into the academic writing elements. So for example, if they're lacking critical writing within that particular assignment, then we can help use that tutor feedback to build up their critical writing. So, for example, we've got various frameworks that we use for students who are beginners for critical writing, and that will allow them to build up those skills in relation to the assignment that they're doing. We can also, because what we've done as well, we're trying to gather as many past student examples as possible. So we're using those student examples to feed into students that we're teaching now. So for example, with incorporating sources in writing, using those student examples, the new students can see how sources have been incorporated into the writing and why we incorporate sources in writing and the importance of this. So that will feed into the subject specific content that you're providing feedback on. So what I would recommend is any tutor feedback they bring to us, so that we can use that to feed any academic writing support.
Yes.
Appointment.
Yeah.
And usually what we recommend, particularly with part-time students, is the pattern seems to be a couple of weeks before submission, they'll book an appointment with us. And then just before submission, they'll book another appointment and we'll have a look to see whether they've incorporated what we discussed in the previous appointment into this.
Okay. Yeah. So my thinking was, it sounds very similar in the sense of my role, I think, is around content with them, and it's about subject, as you say, subject specific, and then yours is more of the refining of that.
Yeah,
is that
essentially.
right?
So,
okay,
for example,
fantastic.
if they've struggled to write, just moving on to this side, introductions and conclusions in a report, for example, and they're not sure whether they've addressed or added in a particular thesis into their introduction, we can see how they can incorporate that thesis into their introduction using the task at hand. And the same with organising and structuring a report as well. So yeah, the way I see it with apprentices, particularly in this case, is any tutor feedback is beneficial for us because we can then use that to support the appointment. And also, if you're sending us work in an email, try and highlight which aspects of your work you would want us to look at, just because we probably won't have time to read through the whole piece, and that's not what we do anyway. So highlighting specific parts of your work that you're unsure about or that you want to refine or anything like that, just highlight in the email.
Yeah, that sounds good. And also I can then reinforce that when I'm signposting them to you. If that makes sense. So yeah, that's good, because I think especially when people don't know what they're doing, they can expect everything, can't they? And it's
sometimes we get emails from students saying, can you read through my work? And that's it. And you think, well, what is it that you want looking at?
Yeah.
So just being a bit more specific as to what you'd like from us.
Okay.
So in terms of how you book an appointment, you can email us at learningservices.cuc@coventry.ac.uk, or you can contact the library, and Tom will be able to provide you with details there. But you can also visit Marlane as well. We are offering face-to-face appointments, so if you would like a face-to-face appointment, just let us know and we'll see when we can fit you in. So during the pandemic, as mentioned, we can meet through Zoom, or socially distanced through the CUC library, and you can send your work via email. We can also do an appointment via Teams if you're more comfortable with that as well. We try and ask if you can book at least a week in advance, just because we can then ensure that there is a slot for you, particularly during submission weeks for the full-time students. It tends to be a little bit crazy. So if you can, try and book at least a week in advance. If you can't, don't worry. I'm sure we can find something for you. So don't be afraid to email a couple of days before. try not to book on the day of your deadline. But yeah, if you just drop us an email and we can see what we can do for you. So I will just show you the LibGuides page very quickly. So can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so this is our new LibGuides page. Tom, what did you say the easiest way to get to this would be through Moodle?
I will edit Moodle so that it goes directly to this page, but you can, I'll post, as you're talking, I'll post the link in the chat as well, so everybody's got that link, but I will edit Moodle.
Okay, cool. So on Moodle, I don't know if you've seen, guys, we've got resources on there in various tabs. These same tabs are here as well on the quick links. So we've got academic writing guides. So these tabs you'll probably recognize from Moodle. So we've tried to refine them even further so that there's less clicking to do from the student perspective. So we've got guides relating to writing assignments. So if you're writing a report or organizing and structuring an essay, there are guides here relating to that. There are some new guides that we've put on here in relation to general academic skills. So looking at reporting in-text citations, paraphrasing, and summarizing a source. So these 3 guides might be something that you find useful, particularly when you're thinking about incorporating research into your work. Writing critically, so we've got 2 guides in relation to creating and structuring an argument and general critical analysis in writing. So if you are beginners to critical writing, I would highly recommend this one here. And there's information on how to book an appointment as well as contact details. So hopefully this is a little bit easier to navigate through than Moodle. And as I said, we've tried to refine the guides so that they're easier to access as well for you. Yeah, are there any questions?
No. Just from me, when will that link be updated from Moodle?
I'm still on mute. I'll do it straight after this session, so I can do it tonight.
Okay,
It only takes me 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Perfect, thanks, Tom. All right then, guys. Well, if anyone hasn't got any questions, I will leave you to it.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. If you need anything from me, Hannah, as well, if you need anything, just drop me an email.
Yeah, fantastic. And Brenna, I know this is all quite new for you, but especially as you're entering the top-up degree, it is such a good service to have all the support because it just allows you to get like the maximum grades that you can, especially if it's because it's a special way of doing it and it's just getting into that. And so that's what Shivani and Daniel help with. So thank you. Thanks for giving up some time in your evening.
No worries. No problem at all. Happy to do it. All right then, guys. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Shivani.
Bye.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Tom Amos. I'm the Library Learning Services Manager at CUC. Next part of this workshop, I'm going to take you through both finding sources and citing and referencing them. I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for everybody. Appreciate you've all got work as well, so I'm going to try and show you the easiest possible way to both do research and then cite the sources that you find too. So I've got a bit of a presentation, so I'm just going to share that. Can you all see that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it, thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks. So, as I said, we're going to cover most of the research and referencing in this session. So tonight we've got an update from academic writing, which we've already had. I'm going to give a bit of a referencing refresher and some guidance, and then I'll take you through some research as well. So I believe the sorts of things you might be researching in this current module are things like governance, mission statements, vision statements, organisational structures, values and ethics. Is that all correct? Is that familiar?
That's absolutely perfect. That's what we do.
Great. So that's what we're going to focus on, researching around. Research techniques I'll go through apply to absolutely anything, but I'm going to gear this session towards those things. So we're going to start with looking at referencing, why we do it, and what it means. So referencing is a vital part of academic writing. It's something you have to do to achieve at university, and it involves acknowledging sources of information or ideas you've used in your work. So as well as acknowledging them, we're also informing the reader of the sources we've used as well. And this can be things like books, research articles, statistics from a website. It might be images or pictures, essentially anything that's not our own work or ideas, or any information we've got from anywhere else, we need to reference. So we need to signpost our reader to where we got that information from. So why do we need to reference? Well, first of all, it supports your arguments with evidence and examples. So when you make arguments or points in your work, it's going to help to strengthen them. It also gives credit and recognition to others for their work. As well as that, it separates your ideas from the work of others. So as I said, referencing sort of signposts where you've used the work of others, so you can separate your own thoughts and ideas from those that you've got from elsewhere. And it also demonstrates the quality of resources that you've used and your own subject knowledge as well. So if you can go away and do some research and then you can integrate those sources into your own work, it shows that you have knowledge and understanding of the subject too. So just a quick question for those of you here, so for Brenna and Ashley. Can you think of any other reasons why we might reference? There's perhaps one really obvious one. It might be too obvious.
Just to validate its authenticity of what you're saying.
Yeah, so to validate authenticity is a good one, so that somebody else can go and check the sources that you've used and check that they say what you said they say. Yeah. The other reason I can perhaps think of is just purely to get marks and to succeed. It's something that as you go on to your degree, if you're doing the top-up degree, you're awarded a certain percentage of marks for things like academic rigor, academic practice, and this would fall under that. So you're getting marks for it, and as you get used to it and you recognise the format and the structure that you need to do to reference successfully, it's really easy marks. Once you fall into that habit of doing it, it's easy marks to pick up as well.
There's another reason is that some people, without referencing properly, you can get into a lot of trouble for plagiarism. And I don't really, it's happened where I've seen a few assignments recently where people are submitting assignments where they've got 65% similarity with other work. So basically, by not doing it properly, you just end up sort of almost at a point where you're at academic misconduct, and that can just be through not knowing how to do this properly. So
yeah, I would echo that. Good academic practice and rigor and referencing accurately. It's also going to mean that you can avoid things like accidental plagiarism, which potentially has quite serious consequences. So again, just acknowledging any time that you use the work of others, it's going to help you to avoid plagiarism and mean that you can succeed and avoid that as well. So what style do we use? Well, for those of you, for Ashley, who's been here a while, you're probably using CU Harvard at the moment. Officially, the university this year has switched to APA referencing. So if you're a new student, so Brenna, I believe this is your first module, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So you'll be referencing in APA. So we've, like I said, we switched to APA, so all new students go straight to APA. If you are a returning student or this isn't your first module, you have a choice, so you can switch to APA if you'd like, or you can continue what you're doing and continue to use CU Harvard until you graduate. That's absolutely your choice. The two styles are quite similar, so if you do switch from CU Harvard to APA, it's not a massive change or anything like that. It's just a few commas and brackets are in slightly different places mostly, but you have the choice to switch to APA if you prefer.
Okay.
So how do we reference? So there are two parts to referencing. So the first part I'm going to focus on is your in-text citations. And these are where in the body of your work or the body of your assignment. So this could be a report, it could be a presentation, an essay, whatever piece of work you're doing. Anytime you use the work of others, it's signposting in your essay to that work. So you can see an example on the left-hand side here. So I've said Cottrell claims that critical thinking when reading is essential to academic success. And you can see that part there in quotation marks, critical thinking when reading is essential to academic success. That's from Cottrell's work. So that, if I was writing this, is not my own work. So I've acknowledged that that's not my own work by stating the name of the author in my work. And I've also included the year of publication, 2013, so the year that they produced that piece of work, and also the page number. So this is an example of what we would do if it was a book. If it was a website or something without the page number, the only difference would be I wouldn't include that page number. It would just be the author's name and the year. So if it doesn't have a page number, you don't include that. But if it's something like a book or a research article and it does, you would include it in your work. So the example on the left is an example of APA format. But if we were doing it in CU Harvard, it would look a bit like this. So as you can see, there's not a massive difference between the two. In APA, for quoting directly, we just put our brackets and the page number at the end of the sentence. Whereas if we're doing it in CU Harvard, we just put our page number straight after the year of publication there. And this is for a direct quote. If we're paraphrasing or summarising, you can do it. If you're doing it in APA, you can put the page number directly after the year of publication. So if I wasn't quoting directly, if I was putting this in my own words, I would put Cottrell 2013, page 189, claims that, and then I might reword this so it says the same thing, but it's just using different terminology if I'm not quoting directly. Is that making sense so far? Everybody happy so far?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about what I've covered at the moment?
No.
Okay. In a moment, I'm going to show you where there's lots of online guidance and support for this as well. So don't worry if you do forget any of this or you're not sure as we go. I'll show you where lots of guidance is too, and we can also offer lots of support following this session. So the other part to referencing is the list of references, and this goes at the end of your work. So this basically is a list of all the sources you've used in your work. So anytime you've used a source for in-text citations, you also need to list that source in your reference list. So generally speaking, if you had something like an essay or a presentation, the last page of that piece of work, you would have your reference list on. And a full reference just contains all of the information required to describe a source. So I've used an example of a book here. So if we're doing referencing a book, we would have the author's surname and first initial, the year of publication, the title of the book, the edition, and the publisher. If we were doing it in CU Harvard, we'd have the place of publication as well. And a couple of the full stops are in different places. But I'll show you where the CU Harvard guidance is in a moment. So this is APA. So Brenna, if you're referencing in APA, if you're doing a book, this is the type of format we would look for.
Tom, do you get asked frequently how many references people should use? And this is one of Ashley's favourite questions.
Yeah.
Whenever we go through a section, he asks me this. So
yeah,
what's the magic answer?
Oh, there is no magic answer, I'm afraid. I'm really sorry. I can't give you a magic answer.
No, I just wondered. I just hoped we weren't saying different things.
So
that's all.
I would say it depends on the nature of the assignment. It depends on both the nature of the assignment, what you're being asked to do, perhaps the length of the assignment. It really just depends on a lot of things. I would say try to use, if you can, a range of sources, and where you can, if you want to really strengthen your arguments as well. If you're making a point, so let's say in your work you said, and this is your own work, you said organisational structure at Jaguar Land Rover looks a bit like this. And then you might go to a text and you might get a piece of information from about organisational structure from there. And you might say so-and-so's theory of organisational structure enforces this. And then you might think, right, it'd be good to corroborate that with another source. So I might then go and look at another piece of information on organisational structure, and I might say, in addition, so-and-so says this, and this also backs up my argument. So I might look for a couple of pieces of information that really strengthen my argument. And that might mean I've got a few extra references on my work because I'm really trying to strengthen my arguments. Likewise, I might sort of compare and contrast different sources. So I might say, so-and-so argues this. In contrast, another author argues this. This suggests that, and then make my point.
Yeah.
Again, you're going to have that in that just those couple of sentences. You're probably going to have two references in there because you've used two different sources of information and you're comparing them. So I would say there's no real answer, but it's enough to back up your argument and also to have that academic debate and compare and contrast in there as well. So normally you're looking for at least enough to do that. So that might be 6 or 7, it might be a few more. It really just depends on the nature of your assignment, but enough to create that debate and to back up your argument.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It is that sort of $1 million. And the last thing you want is people just adding in references willy-nilly because they think they've got a target, isn't it? It's about how you use them.
Yeah, it is.
And also the quality of them, I think, depends on the nature of the assignment as well. So I don't mean like we're doing one at the moment on the top-up degree where I want them to use industry references, I want them to use Glassdoor, I want them to get an insider, and that's in a very purist way, not what you're expecting from a sort of academic piece of work. But I think so. Yeah, it's sort of it has to be very fluid, doesn't it, with what you're trying to achieve?
It really does. Yeah, it might come to things like as you progress through your degree, you might do something like a literature review when you come to your final project. And there we would be expecting probably quite a lot of references because you're looking at an overview of the literature and you really want to get a comprehensive feel for the topic, whereas in other assignments it might not be as necessary to do that. So it is really just contextual. It just depends on the nature of the assignment. Okay, and also the volume of literature out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brenna, because this is your first assignment, I'm going to set you a challenge because CMI Diploma is quite nice. You don't have to use that many references. It's not as academically robust. I'd like you to use at least 5 references in your assignment.
5, okay.
Okay, minimum. And yeah, I'll tell you what, because what I like to do is work with you. So each assignment you get more and more degree ready. So, and it's only to get those fine-tuning skills just so you can do really well on the degree and it doesn't feel like a big jump. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I've got a question. So in the context of our subjects and stuff, if we are referencing from our own company, well, if we're quoting something from our own company, do we have to reference that? Would that be included in that?
If it's available on something like the company website or literature that you can find that's publicly available, then you can do so. Let's say, do you work for JLR?
No, I work for Go8.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh,
So let's
exciting,
say,
isn't it?
yeah. Sounds like a great job.
Contrast.
So let's say you've talked about Go8's mission statement or Go8's values. If that's available on, let's say, Go8's website or some literature that talks about Go8, by all means signpost to that source. If you're talking about your own experience and you don't necessarily have anything to back that up, you wouldn't want to talk about yourself in the first person. So you might say something like, in the author's experience of working at Go8, and then go on and make your point. That's first-hand knowledge, and that's primary information. So you don't need to reference that because that's coming directly from you. There's no point in referencing yourself, essentially. What I would say then is you could perhaps back that up. So you could say something like, in the author's experience, this and this happens. And then you might want to find a supporting piece of literature to help you make your point. So you might say something afterwards like, this is enforced by so-and-so's theory of whatever, which suggests that blah, 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 blah. Therefore, it fits in with my company's values because of this. So you might want to support your points there with literature, but you don't necessarily need to reference.
Okay, thank you.
So going back to our list of references then. So we've referenced a book a bit like this. So we've got information like the authors, like the title, year of publication, edition. So I just want to ask the two of you, where do you think this information can be found? So let's say we've done our piece of work and now we need to reference a text like this one. So where are you going to get this information from?
The back of the book, if it's from a book.
Yeah, so the book would be one place. How about where else? Where else could you find it that might be even easier?
I don't know, to be fair.
So we try and make things easy for you with the library catalogue and with Bibliu. So as you said, you could use the source itself. So that could be the book itself, the website, the article, whatever it is you've read. But also, if you are referencing things like books or research articles, Locate and Bibliu make this nice and easy for you. So Locate will give you all of these details without you having to sort of look through the book and find them. And Bibliu this year will generate these references for you, and it does a pretty good job of it. So you can also find those on Bibliu. So next sort of part of this workshop, we're going to move away from referencing a little bit and look at how we would find some source of information on both Locate and Bibliu, but also how we would find this information here to help with your referencing too. So I think we're going to have a look at Bibliu first, because coming back to that thing that I was saying earlier about making this as easy as possible for you to do quick, accurate research that you can do on the go on things like your mobile phone, your tablet. Bibliu is really great, and it also makes referencing really easy as well. So I think we're going to have a quick demonstration of Bibliu first. So I'm going to come away from this presentation, just stop sharing that for a moment. Ashley, have you used Bibliu before? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, a while ago, but I'm not the best at using it, to be honest.
Okay, great. And Brenna, this will be new to you. I really like Bibliu. It's nice and easy to use, and it does a lot of the hard work for you. So I'm just going to go to our LibGuides pages and just share this with you.
I'm writing an online degree at the moment, and I use Bibliu all the time. I absolutely love it. I find it like it's so easy to reference from as well, isn't it, with the little quotation marks?
It is, yeah.
It's just lovely.
Yeah. And it's more like using just a standard website or like using a Kindle or iBooks than using a specific library thing. So the interface is something that everyone can just pick up and use, which I really like as well. So we are back on our LibGuides pages now. So to access BibliU from our LibGuides pages, on every page on the left-hand side, you've got this link here under quick links just to BibliU. You can also access it from subject guides. So if I was going to a subject guide and I went to business management and leadership, which is probably the one you would use. Again, on the left-hand side, every page, we've got these links to things like Locate and BibliU. So I'm going to click on BibliU. Oh, that's not a good sign. Let's refresh it. Oh no. This might be the one time that BibliU has gone down.
I have occasionally been
try
to use it, and it's had things like you can't access certain things, and actually an hour later I can. So it just has its little moments, I think. Which isn't great.
Okay, I'm going to just see if I can put it in another browser, and if I can do that, I'll share it in another browser for you. Oh, I think it's behaving. Can you all still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I wasn't sure whether it's my computer going slow or not. It is trying to load something. It's just going a little bit slow. Just give it a moment to see if it works. Or try and just log in on another browser and see if that makes any difference. I've demonstrated it about 20 times this week and it's perfect. It's just decided to give up. Oh, there we go. Right. It's loaded up for me now in a different browser. Let's use it on Firefox. So normally it'll work whatever browser you're on without any problems. I think it's just a small hiccup. Okay, can you all see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So this is what BibliU looks like. I'm just going to sign myself out so I can show you how to sign in. So when you click the link to BibliU for the first time, you'll see a link a login screen a bit like this. You get two options. You get login through your university or with your BibliU account. So if you go to through your university and just select Coventry, so just start typing Coventry, and then click this blue arrow, it will sign you in. Once you get to this login page, it's just username @coventry.ac.uk and your standard password to log in. So then once BibliU loads, it will look a bit like this. 2 moments. There we go. So if you've used things like Kindle or iBooks before, it works very similarly to that, in that you can just click on a book. So let's say we want to read project management, we can just click on it and it's going to load that book for me. And if I want to navigate through this text, I can just go through the chapters and then click on any chapter I want to go to. So let's say I want to go to this chapter here, click it, and it's going to load up for me. It's going a little bit slower than normal tonight. Guess it's just heavy traffic at the start of the university year. Equally, if I want to navigate,
Tom. Do you really think they're all that eager that they're logging in on the evening?
maybe. I'd like to think so. If I want to navigate throughout the text from here, I can just click on this left-hand menu, and then I can click on the chapters I want. So let's say I want to go to chapter 2. There is also a BibliU app, so you can go to the App Store in iOS or Android, download the app, and you can use it exactly the same on your phone or tablet. It resizes all the text to the size of the screen, so it makes it nice and easy to read, and you can also download books for offline reading as well on the app. So if you're on the go, you can download texts and read them maybe when you're traveling or somewhere where you can't get the internet. So that's basically how we would read a book on BibliU. So the next thing I want to show you is just how to do a bit of basic research and how to use it to help with your referencing as well. So if I just go back a step, as we mentioned earlier, we're looking at things perhaps like governance, organisational structure. What was the other stuff? Can't remember off the top of my head now. I'm going to refer back to my PowerPoint.
Mission and vision, wasn't it?
Mission and vision statement, values and ethics. Is that the other one?
Yes, value and ethics. Yeah.
So BibliU, when you're searching, if you go back to the home page, you get this option here that says search your books. So the library catalogue locate will search via keywords in the title of books or that we use to describe books. So sometimes that means if you're looking for something like organisational structure, you might want to search for a general management text and then find it within there. However, BibliU is a little bit cleverer than that in that you can put the exact thing that you're looking for into the search bar, and it will essentially read through all the books and give you search results just like Google does. So the way it works, the way it searches is the same as Google, which means that everybody's familiar with it and it's nice and easy to use as well. So if I put organisational structure in, just give that a moment to do its thing. So it's going to do two things. It's going to suggest some books at the top that relate to that topic. And then I can just click on one of those books and I'm straight into it. But probably more usefully, if I scroll down a little bit, you can see content. And this is basically like Google search results. So you can see it gives me little previews of text that mention organisational structure, talk about organisational structure. And you can see under each preview, it tells me what book this is from and what page it appears on as well. And then if I want to go and do a bit more research, I can click on these search results and it will take me directly to these texts. So let's say I want to read about organisational structure in this book here, Management and Organisational Behaviour. I'm just going to click on it. And then it's going to take me to that page. So you'll be able to see organisational structure, technology and structure is on this page. So it's taken me to exactly where I need to be, and I can see the information that I need. Again, if I go back to the search results, I can click on another one. So let's say we're interested in this one now. It's taken me straight to a chapter about organisational structure. So again, it's nice and easy to find information, and it also even highlights the words on the page for a moment for me as well. So at this point, you've gone onto BibliU, you've found the information you need, and now probably you want to reference it and include it in your assignment. So it also makes that nice and easy. So in the top right, you've got these sort of quotation marks. Click that and it says references. And then you get references in lots of different formats. So if you're using APA, so for Brenner, APA, it will do for you. So you've got the exact format you'd need to reference in there. And then all you need to do is copy that into your list of references. You would need to do the in-text citation yourself, but that's the easy bit. And for Ashley, you can see it does CU Harvard as well. And it does a pretty good job of getting these things correct. A lot of other sort of reference management software or referencing generators often will get things completely wrong, and they're not very useful, but BibliU does a pretty good job actually. I would check what it generates against the referencing guidance, which I'll show you in a moment. But generally speaking, it does a pretty good job, makes it nice and easy for you. How are we with BibliU so far? Making sense? Are we liking it?
Yeah, it's fine, thank you.
I love it.
Sounds
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I think you've got to try it really to use it, haven't you? Once you do, then you'll see.
Absolutely, yeah. And also when you start comparing it to Locate, you think, oh, it's actually a lot nicer than sort of traditional catalogues. So I'm just going to go back one more time. I'll just do one more search just to show you that again. So this time I'm going to search mission statement. Again, that's one of the things we might be searching for in this module. And you can see BibliU will change the books it's recommending. And also we've got lots of information here about mission statements now.
What's the difference between contents and figures? Just at the top.
Good question. So figures is things like graphs, charts and images. So it does the same thing for those two. So if I wanted to see diagrams, graphs, charts, etc. about mission statements, I can go from content to figures, and then as I scroll through, it will give me things like pictures, graphs, and things like that. And you can click on any of those and it will take you directly to that page as well. So it works exactly the same way. It's just different types of information.
Okay.
Benefit of using figures from here or any of the content from here rather than things like Google is it's going to take you to good quality sources of information. So it can take you to academic texts that are written and produced by experts, that are published by academic presses and have gone through some kind of editing. So it's going to give you accurate information or help to build your knowledge base. And also by using good quality sources in your work, it's going to help you to achieve and get good marks as well. So could go to Google and find this information, but it might not be correct or accurate, and it might not be as authoritative as well. So using BibliU is really going to benefit you. And as I said, it works just as easily as Google. So if you've got a choice between the two, I'd always recommend maybe coming to BibliU. So in a nutshell, that's how BibliU works. I'm just going to show you one more feature, which is just this favourite feature. So you can see I've already favorited that book. So I want to favourite that again. I'm just going to click that heart in the top right. And now every time I go back to my home page, it's pinned it to the home page. Now you can see that one there. So if you do find yourself using text sort of time and time again, favourite them, it'll pin it to your home page, and then you've got that there all the time. Also, if you favourite books in the app, in the top left-hand corner, you get a little cloud icon. Click that and it will download it for offline reading. So if you want to download it offline on your phone or tablet, anything like that, favourite it, click the cloud in the top left. So that's BibliU. I think we have about 6,000 texts on BibliU now, so more than we did in previous years, and we're building on that every year. But the other option you have available to you is locate. So I'm just going to show you that as well.
So is BibliU something that Coventry University, like when you say we have got on it?
Yeah,
what's
so
the relationship there?
The Coventry University group. So we so Coventry University buy a text and put it on BibliU. We can access it. If Scarborough do the same thing,
okay.
We can access it. So it's used across the group.
Yeah. So our when we log in, it accesses what we're allowed to access through the group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So licenses
all of the resources on there are shared across the group.
Okay, fantastic.
It also means we have a bit more sort of leverage as well, so we can negotiate with publishers as a group and try and get the most out of them as a sort of joint group of libraries. I won't go too much into that because it might bore you all. That's the sort of ins and outs of it. So the other thing I was going to show you is locate. So that's BibliU. Locate is our catalogue. So again, on these quick links here, you can click on locate. And locate, we have about 300,000 ebooks available through locate now. It says search anything. You can search topics, you can search by keywords or terms. If you know the text you're looking for, you can use key terms from the title, maybe an author's surname will give you an accurate search as well. So I was looking for, let's say, change management text. I might and click enter. And then it's going to pull the most relevant results to the top. And you can see I've got lots of different books here. And to access any of these that say online access, I'm just going to click on that icon. If it says more than one version exists, I can also click on that. And I can see that text is available online now. So you can see this one's available in the library and online. If I want to view it online, I just click online access.
What do you prefer to use, BibliU or locate? Just out of curiosity.
I prefer using BibliU. It's easier to use. The search function is more powerful, and I like that you can use it on a phone as well. If I was doing slightly more in-depth research, and I would use locate just because it's got more available to you. But in terms of sort of usability and how user-friendly things are, I would say BibliU is my preference, and quite a lot of people's preference as well, to be honest.
With BibliU, can you copy stuff and copy it in? Because with Locate, don't you have to retype it if you want to do a quote?
So yeah, if you want to copy text directly from books, BibliU, I think you can just highlight and copy.
That's what I think. I think it's so I think it's easier to use from that respect.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, that's another feature I didn't think about actually.
Yeah, because I've been doing that quite a bit recently.
Locate depends a bit on the book
Right.
and who provides it. So you can see this book's provided by eBook Central, but you might have a different provider that lets you copy directly. Just depends on the provider really. So it's a little bit variable in Locate. So if we've got to Locate and we want to view this text, you just click full text. You to click online access. So we click this, and then you want to click full text available at and follow this blue link. Give it a moment to load up. If it's asked you to log in, it's the same login as BibliU. So it's username at coventry.ac.uk. And then from here, you're just going to select read online. You can download some text, but it's a bit complicated. You have to download extra software. And also you only get it for a couple of days for copyright. So it's much easier just to read online. So if we click that, it will load this text up for me. And you can see I'm into the text now. To navigate throughout this text, on the left-hand side, I can just click on chapters I want to go to or parts. So it works a bit like BibliU. And you can see I can also search within this book as well. So if there's particular keywords or terms, let's say structure, I want to find within this book, I can use this search bar. So I'm going to put structure in, and these sort of blue bars here show me how commonly structure appears and in what part. So if I want to expand those search results, a bit like BibliU, I can just click on them and it will take me to the page as well. So you can see structure highlighted on that page there. The difference between Locate and BibliU is on Locate, I can search through one book at a time for these keywords and phrases. On BibliU, I can search across all of the books on the platform. So it's going to give me a greater range of results, and it's a bit more of a powerful search. Also, Locate doesn't do quite as good a job as referencing. So if I go back from this ebook now and go back to Locate, you can see as I've clicked on this book, I have got this citation option, and Locate will try and generate citations for you, but as you can probably see, it doesn't get them right. So this is an APA. So you can see it's added, let's see what it's done wrong. It's added a place of publication, it's added some random colons here that we wouldn't need. It's added another place of publication that we wouldn't need, another colon, things that we just wouldn't do when we're referencing. So it gets quite a lot wrong if you use the generator in Locate, so I perhaps wouldn't recommend that. What I'd recommend you do instead is go to this details tab, and then all of the things you need to reference are here. I'd recommend just using these and putting them in the right format. So you've got your title, your author, the edition, the publisher, here, where it's published if you need that. And then the creation date is the date this was published as well. So all of those details are there, but it's probably not as user-friendly as BibliU. So BibliU will do a pretty good job of just doing the reference for you, whereas Locate, you have to put a little bit more work into to get it to produce a good reference. So in a nutshell, that's how we use both Locate and BibliU. If you're new to research and you want to do it effectively and easily, I'd recommend maybe starting with BibliU, and then as you progress and do a bit more research, maybe go for Locate afterwards. But BibliU is definitely a bit more user friendly. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to my PowerPoint for one moment, just in the background, and see what I've got to cover. And the last thing I've got to cover in this workshop is just to show you where all of the referencing guidance is. So I know I've talked about referencing quite a lot as we go. So I'm going to go back to our LibGuides page one more time. And you can see on this page as well, we've got referencing guidance just on the left-hand side here under quick links too. There is a referencing link on Moodle, which I'm going to update and make sure this goes to the same place as well. So if you go onto Moodle after this and click referencing, that's fine also. So when you click on this, it's going to take you to a page a bit like this. And you can see from here, you can select your style of referencing. So if you reference in CU Harvard, click that. APA, you can select APA. The guides work in exactly the same way. They're just slightly different formats. So if I pick the APA example, you can see from here, we've got a comprehensive guide for how to reference across the top. So if you're new to referencing, you can click how to reference, and then you can look at things like in-text citations and how you would do those. There's a nice sort of comprehensive guide here. You might look at the list of references and an example of that. And again, there's a nice comprehensive guide. And also you can select particular sources of information and it will show you the exact format you need to reference them in. So if I was doing a book and it's a print book or an ebook, I can select those and it will show me the format I need to do that in. So you can see an example there and a bit of a checklist. Likewise, if I was taking information from the internet, from a website, I might click on websites and web pages. And again, it's going to show me exactly how to do that. So it's just a case of copying examples here for your reference at the end. We also have on the APA homepage this quick guide. So if you're not very used to referencing, it's new to you, and if this guide's a bit long or a bit intimidating, start with the quick guide. So if you click on the quick guide on the right hand side, that will open up. Oh, it's opening in another tab on another browser, so it's not going to share with you. Let me see if I can open it in Firefox so you can see that. Still wants me to open a different thing. I'm just going to quickly change windows so you can see that. Is it going to let me share the quick guide? Maybe not. I have a printed version in front of me. See if I can figure that out to show you. There we go. I'll hold the printed version up to my webcam instead because it is opening for me. I just can't share the screen with you, unfortunately. So the quick guide, the digital version, looks just like this. Can you all see that on my webcam? And you've got examples of how to reference everything in there. So for a book, you've got an in-text citation and how it would look in a list of references and then a checklist. And there's also all the other sources you might want to cover in there. So you've got journal articles, figures, web pages and electronic reports. And then also usefully in this guide, you've got an example piece of writing with an example list of references at the end. So if you click that digital guide, it will show you. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen with you and show you it on screen, but it's exactly the same as this printed one I'm holding in front of me. If you're not sure how to reference, if it's new to you, start with a quick guide and it'll take you through in enough detail to get you started. And it's nice and user-friendly as well. Okay, so I think that's everything I have on my PowerPoint. So I'm going to stop sharing this with you for a moment. There we go, sharing the right screen. So for further help and support with any of the things I've showed you today, if you go to our LibGuides pages, you'll find all our contact details on there. They're also on the screen just here. We can offer one-to-one support with research, referencing. Academic writing can do the same with all the things they cover. So whether it's developing your writing, integrating sources more effectively, maybe you want to focus on a particular aspect of your writing. Again, we've got one-to-one support available to you with that as well. You can email us to arrange the support, or you can phone us. Again, our phone number's just on there. And we've also got lots of online support on our LibGuide pages too. So if you're stuck with any of the things we've covered today, get in touch with us and we can put some further support in place. Things like that, you might want to have a go at referencing as well. You might want to have a go at using a couple of sources and doing a couple of examples. Email it through to the library and we can give you feedback on that, let you know if you're on the right track, give you some help and support. So maybe if you're doing your first assignment, don't feel stuck, get in contact with us and we can help you as you go as well. So just to finish off, I'd just like to ask if there's any questions or anything you want me to recap or go over, anything at all.
No, nothing from me, thank you.
I'm all good, thank you. That was great.
Thank you. You covered loads there, but not in a way that's baffling. So thank you.
Great, I'm glad. I'm always worried about sort of information overload. But like I say, anything you forget or need further support with, do just contact us and we can put that in place.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you all for attending. Hopefully that's been helpful for you and hope to see you in the future.
Yeah, I've recorded the session, so has anyone got any objections to the fact I've done that without asking your permission first? Which wasn't great.
Could you send me that if it's no issue with anybody else, please, Hannah? Just so
Well,
I
that's what. Yeah, that's what I was
back
thinking.
to it.
With Ashley, with Adrian and Zubair, I just thought it'd be good if everyone's okay with it. So what I'll do is, like I did with our session on Thursday night, I'll upload it and put a link in Moodle. So you know the Moodle page we've got. So we'll have every session, because I think Brenna, you asked for that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, of course. No, so that's why I thought as we started the session. So yeah, I'll do that, and it should be uploaded tomorrow. Okay. Tom, thank you. Thanks so much. You've
No problem.
and for customising it to our module as well.
Yeah, it's really good. Thank you.
Really
No problem
appreciate
at all.
it.
Thank you all.
All right,
Cheers.
have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all.
And you.
Yeah, 6 o'clock on Thursday night, and we'll learning outcome 2. We'll get through it. Okay. All right.
See you
Thanks for
later.
your time. See
Bye,
you. Have a
everyone.
good few days.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.